This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to Born Wild, the show that takes you to the heart of wild India. It takes you up close and personal to some of India's most endangered animals and the people who help them fight for their survival. In our first episode today, we take you into the world of the leopard, one of the most elusive and beautiful big cats of India. Now, the leopard was hunted practically to extinction for its luminous and beautiful coat, and then it became protected under the Wildlife Protection Act. But it's still vulnerable to the threat of extinction because the places it calls its home, the leopard's habitat is being taken over by people and by villages, which is why you hear so much about clashes between people and leopards, clashes in which not only the leopard dies, but so many little children get killed. Today, we're going to ask the big question. We are taking you across India to ask, is the leopard a menace or is it a victim of our drive towards modernization and development? An inky black forest in Pauri, Garhwal. We were following Devendra Singh, a researcher, and his team who were managing a project started by the Wildlife Institute of India to study the leopard-man conflict in this area. In the last 10 years, 300 people have been killed in Pauri by leopards. The team was in the forest to set camera traps for leopards. The cameras are set up in the night as leopards are most active between dusk and dawn. Our team had its own agenda too. We needed to find out if the leopard is the menace that it's being made out to be, or if they are victims of a surge for development that we seem unable to halt, skewing natural ratios and setting up man against the environment. Between the time of 7 and 9 in the evening, the leopards move out of the jungle, actually more towards the villages that surround this forest area. And interestingly enough, the cat, instead of taking a path through the jungle, prefers using trails actually made by people. So they do come down on the trails that we're walking right now to go towards the villages on the side of this forest. And we're here tonight hoping that we might be able to see a leopard, if not at least see what Devendra and his team do in the night here in the forest, the way they come into this forest to see if they can spot the cat, the way they set up camera traps to take photographs of the cat. The thing with the leopard is it's one of the most difficult wildcats of all to spot in India. They're such stealthy and cunning predators that they're extremely careful, and the smallest noise tips them off to the sight or smell of man, and it's really, really difficult to spot them. The darkness in a mountainside is intimidating. Me, a self-avowed animal lover, found myself nervous. After all, here I was in the domain of a predator. People here say that even if a leopard was walking with you, you would not know it. We've reached a spot where one of the camera traps has been placed. These cameras stay here all night, as I said, since the leopard's a nocturnal animal. It records the activity. How it does this is the sensor that's on the camera detects any movement in front of it. Like now, I'm walking across the camera, it's come on, and the flash came on and it's taken a photograph. And this is how it records leopard movement. Unfortunately, although we trekked here for a while, we didn't see any leopards on this path. But the camera will let us know if there was any activity on this path or not later. Although that night we did not see a leopard, the camera that was set up did take a photograph later. But it's not just people who lose their lives. This photograph is testimony to what happens to any leopard spotted in the area by people. Suspected as man-eaters, they usually lose their lives, and quite brutally. Apart from the camera traps, the team also collects leopard scat, that is leopard droppings. This will help them extract the DNA strain of the leopard, establishing individuals and territories. With the DNA fingerprint, the institute will be able to find out which leopard moves in which area and therefore which leopard is responsible for a particular attack or kill. They can even match DNA with previously shot leopards, that's man-eaters, to see if there's any genetic linkage to man-eating. They're now waiting for permission from the government to radio collar some of the leopards in the area to get a better idea about their behavior and hopefully find a solution to the conflict.
One is that where the high conflict zones there might be more leopard, in low conflict zones there may be less leopard. So now we are using the camera trap techniques and we are trying to understand whether there are more leopards or not. The number of the leopards have been killed as a man-eater leopards. If they are all related to each other, it means it's not one generation to another, then they should have a relationship with. And if there is a random process, if they are all those animals which have been killed as a man-eater, if it's a random process, they will not be related to each other. So this, what you rightly said, we are trying to address in our project by using the DNA techniques. And we have got the samples which were killed as a man-eater. And if they are all related to each other, very close related, then it is not a random process. It means somehow this learning process has gone. And if it is a random process, then you will find they are not related.